I really didn't care if I got caught. I was 26 years old. I didn't have a wife. The girlfriend I was with at the time, I didn't even care to be with her. To be honest with you, the biggest attachment I think I had in my life was I wanted it with my father at the time. So if you get caught, you know, at least it was you trying to help your dad out. So I was like, it, let's rob a bank.
Never show a weapon in a bank. You don't want to display or use a gun, ever. The first one is 5 years consecutive, and then it goes 25 consecutive for every count. 2, never go over the counter. If you go over the counter, it's a takeover, and now you're talking 25 years instead of 5 or 6. 3, never strike or touch anybody. If you do, it's an assault. It's never 5 years. And 4, never tell anybody in the bank to move from one place to another. It's also a great way to get a hell of a lot more time.
I think the whole reason Lewis Sr. came here was to rob banks. That was his life. You know, he had done this before, so he knew what to do. And what better than to bring your son in with you, in his eyes.
So we just started talking about robbing my bank and the other TCF banks in the area. We were gonna rob as many TCF banks as I had inside knowledge about. The bank was inside a little shopping center. Right here when you walk in through those doors is where the branch was. My dad, he's like, you ready for this, kid? I'm like, hey. He's like, you sure? We need a test run first. I'm like, what? He wanted to make sure that I was being serious about robbing a bank. So, all right, we're gonna go rob a bank, and then we'll rob yours. I'm like, okay.
This call is from
Lewis Early.
an inmate at a federal prison.
Wasn't a test. It was a matter of getting a bundle of money real quick. His took a lot more planning and timing, depending upon his work schedule, mapping out getaway routes. Logistically, a big difference.
So we drove around looking for another bank. Then I found the Fifth Third. The reason why it was a good target was its location. There was a street adjacent to it where I could park, where he could just jump in the car, and we could take the side streets to be back in my apartment in 2 minutes without being caught. It was perfect. Working at the bank, you go through security trainings. So you know the ins and outs of if you get robbed, what you're supposed to do. So I knew firsthand, they're supposed to follow your orders to a T. They say, don't push that panic button till I leave. They're not supposed to push that panic button till you leave. If you tell them don't give you the die packs, they're not supposed to. Robber might come back and kill you for disobeying an order. You're not trained to be heroic to save the day. No, your life is more important than money that's fairly insured. So we sat down and went through over all this.
Now, at the time, I'm on a run. We had agreed that after we did the next bank, we were going to go to Vegas, blow the money, basically, just kind of stay together. But first of all, we had agreed that my son was responsible for getting us in and out of there. He was the wheelman. He kept the car running, and I went in.
It's hard to explain the feeling. Definitely nervous. I overthink things all my whole life, you know, so I'm sitting there like, what if the cops show up?
hey, this is a robbery. It looked like an FBI agent or two that came screaming by us.
I was just praying that none of it exploded. Some say being smart makes you cocky. It does.
So we're here in Baghdad.
We're in Moscow.
Washington.
Chicago.
Mexico.
Flint, Michigan.
Damascus.
Chernobyl.
Italy.
There's always going to be resistance to change.
Seriously, no.
I think it's become so politicized.
You've politicized it.
All these people have died of COVID-19.
What is it that you want the rest of the world to see happening here?
Vice News Tonight, Monday to Thursday at 11 on Vice.
Let's go. Move. Open that drawer. Give you hundreds and fifties. Don't give me any dye packs.
Oh, man, it seemed like forever. There was a million thoughts racing through my head. Did they catch him? Did he get locked into the bank? Is there a security guard with a gun in there that shot him?
They set the money up on the counter. And right out. 45 seconds, maybe a minute tops.
Once I seen him walking and there was nobody behind him following him, I was like, okay, we got away with it. He jumped in the car and he's like, drive. Got it? Everything okay? He's like, yeah, just go, just go.
As we were leaving, the alarm went off. It looked like an FBI agent or two that came screaming by us.
And I was flying. I don't think I stopped at any stop sign. And I just remember looking in the rearview mirror the whole time, looking over at him as he's going through all the money. Because he really had it just all stuffed in his jacket and he was pulling it out. Just pulling it out, going through it. And I'm like praying that none of it exploded. There was no dye packs. Trying to drive and I'm like checking the money. And when I seen it was like one of those GPS tracking bundles. So I grab it and I'm like playing with it. I'm like, yeah, there's some heart in it, there's some heart in it. And I opened the window and just chucked it out the window. We counted the money out. It was about 10 grand. I took 2 grand. Gave him the rest.
We split up and went out to a strip club. Picked up one of the girls that worked for me in an escort service and then another girl that I knew. Went back to the hotel. Stayed until about 5 in the morning.
After we robbed that bank, I needed help. So I brought my car to Gino, my younger brother.
Hey, what's up?
I said, Gino,
Listen,
take this envelope.
at the time of the night, I did think it was a little strange.
Okay. Clean the car. I was like, wipe everything down, bleach, vacuum it, do whatever you need to do. Just clean it better than you clean anything in your life. I'll call you when I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah, everything all right?
Yeah.
Try to ask him what's going on, is everything okay? But he kind of just brushed me away. The money he gave me, I thought it was actually income tax money for our mother. I put it up in a shoebox and hid it in my closet. I did what he wanted me to do, like any brother would.
There was a sense of, okay, good. We got away with this one, but he's still here. Now I got more time to spend with my dad. Let's see what else we can do.
After a few days, we went to the second bank. He said, "Are you ready?" I said,
We went to Radio Shack and got some police scanners for when we robbed my bank. Some say being smart makes you cocky. It does. It really does. Because I had it planned to a T and I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna get caught. This is basically the layout of the bank. Well, the next couple of days were spent talking about the plan. He was gonna be parked over here at the restaurant. I called the day before, made up a story like my car was parked outside. Somebody hit the car and drove off. Do you guys have security footage? They're like, sorry, unfortunately we don't have cameras. So I was like, okay, well, we could park the car there. After that, I told my father, come in, I'll be working at the teller line. You should come when I'm closing. It's gonna be me and one other teller. You don't wanna walk up to the teller and rob the teller. The teller's only got $6 grand in her drawer at most. I'll have money ordered from the Federal Reserve. If you're gonna rob the bank, you want the vault. Say you have to open an account, I'm the manager, so I have to let you in the office. Then we can just do a little show for the camera. Talk to me and act like you got a gun. You ain't even gotta say nothing, there's just a camera there. We'll be in the vault, and I'll just open the safe with my keys, put all the money in your bag. Once you get the money, Dad, just tell us to sit down and then you can leave. Now what happens is I have to press a panic button, the security company is gonna call, and then they gotta notify the police. So what I'll do is I'll count in my head what I think is enough time for you to get to the car. And by the time I push the button, you should be driving off. By the time the security company calls, you'll be long gone. We won't have to worry about any of that. I think I picked the gun up the day before the robbery.
Walked up, just went in.
It's unusual that someone got to the vault inside of a grocery store.
Well, I did everything in my power to hinder their investigation. If they catch me, they're gonna have to kill me.
City to city, coast to coast, Donkmaster Sage Thomas races his cars.
We got 1,000, so what'd you get? I want about $30,000. That's my job. You gotta put kids in college.
American classics, works of art, built for speed.
Donkmaster good. I want to take him down.
He's running at high rate of speed, so anything can happen.
Donkmaster, new series premieres Wednesday, August 19th at 10:30 on Vice.
The day before the robbery, I just happened to be out one day eating lunch, and there was a gun shop. Well, I'm looking around, looking what they have, and there was like this little firearm. The guy's like, oh, it's a collector's item. I was like, oh, really? I'm like, I want it. And I bought the gun. What happened was, my dad took the gun with him because he had this grand plan, like if they catch me, I'm gonna shoot it out, they're gonna have to kill me. He didn't rob the bank with the gun, he didn't need it. And it was just in case something happened afterward.
This call is from a federal prison.
I had painted my hands with a fingernail polish so that there would be no fingerprints left. Walked up, just went in.
What happened was I was working, standing on the teller line, and I watched my dad walk in right through the door. And I was like, okay, here we go.
Virtually zero customers there. He was behind the counter with one of the tellers. I went up and he brought me into his office, which was adjacent to the wall. I said, this is a robbery, just cooperate. He closed the door and into the wall. Instructed them to empty the money into the bag. No time tags, no marked money.
I just gave him the bills. I made sure he got the bulk of it.
I told him to count to 200 before you do anything. Well, I had a police scanner with me. If you call anyone, I'm going to you get hurt. And I left.
He left with all the money. He had talked about stopping at the apartment and leaving some cash there. But then he was like, well, what if they come to your house for questioning and find money? So it was like, I don't care, you know, take it. So he left with 60 grand.
Checked into a hotel. We had agreed that I would call him later that night, and we knew that the FBI would be interviewing him.
I work out a small satellite office of the Chicago division of the FBI. I work all the violent crimes, including bank robberies. And the detectives called me and asked me to come out to the bank robbery in Wheaton, Illinois. It's unusual that someone got to the vault at a TCF bank, which is inside of a grocery store. Interviewed several witnesses. Louis Early, he actually started crying uncontrollably when I interviewed him, which I found very unusual. Being a big guy, I'd never seen that before.
When like the police and everybody came, I know what questions they were gonna ask from training. I did everything in my power to hinder their investigation. I mean, I'm like crying, put on this whole story about, oh, can I do my job? I should have did something. And they're like, no. I'm like, okay. That night, my dad calls. We had a code where he would call and I'd be like, did you order a pizza? It was basically our way of knowing it was free and clear to talk. Did you order a pizza? And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, no, I'm just with you, yeah. He's like, don't do that, kid. I told him it all worked. It all worked. He was supposed to send a MoneyGram. We sent the money, but he used my brother's name instead. You know, he was smart. He's like, you don't want to go to BNC and pick up $1,000, $2,000 after your bank was just robbed.
Louis told me, you have a MoneyGram. They need you to go pick it up as soon as you can. I did what I had to do. I believe it was $1,500. He told me to give him $500. He told me I can keep the $1,000 and do whatever I want with it. I had no idea where the money was from, so I spent it on me and him.
I was running again. I'm not going back to jail. I'm not going to get jammed up on this. Decided to go see if I could find Anna, the girl that I had been involved with. As I came through upstate New York, she had texted me and asked me she was at her sister's house, but that her sister wasn't going to be there. I told Anna, if I've got all this money, that's thousands of dollars. Went inside. Got blown. She then got a text on her phone. She said, oh, my sister is coming back. She wasn't supposed to. Let's go down to the city. Let's go get a hotel. I said, fine. We went out, stepped off the porch, turned back around, and I saw somebody coming from behind me. The whole plan blew up.
$51,000 worth of cash.
I look out my apartment window and I seen a cop car out there. He didn't listen.
They told me it was Louis Early.
I'm like, oh shit.